Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Pittsburgh. It is February 23rd. I am Stephanie Pulowski, commissioned lay minister with this congregation. I am in my mid-40s. I have brown, curly, graying hair. I wear glasses. I'm wearing a black dress that my 14-year-old told me was ugly and I should be embarrassed to wear to church today, and a yellow stroll. Our minister, Reverend Kate Walker, is off today as she concludes her vacation, and she is missing out on the Johnson trio. It is such a pleasure to have Dr. James Johnson, Thomas Wendt, and Jeff Grubbs back with us today. Your music is always a blessing. You are welcome here. If you are watching now or in the future, you are welcome. If you're a longtime member or brand new, you are welcome here. We Unitarian Universalists are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We're a multi-faith religious community where all are welcome, diversity is celebrated, and questions expected. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. Just as you are welcome. If this is your first time with us, we would love to be in touch with you. If you have not already done so, please go to our welcome desk in the atrium, or if you're watching us on YouTube, visit our website. Just Google First Unitarian of Pittsburgh and sign up for our weekly newsletter found at the bottom of the page. We have two announcements today. First, there was originally going to be a South African concert later today. That has been rescheduled for March 15th due to visa issues. And secondly, if you're interested in becoming a liturgist and helping us out with presenting services, we will be leading a training on March 1st, so next Saturday from 10 to 12. That could be shorter depending on how many people we have. We'll be going over tasks, opportunities, answering questions, and we will be videotaping everyone providing a reading from the pulpit. If you're just curious, come. We'd love to have you. I invite you now to take a deep breath. Arrive in body and spirit and picture yourself connected to all others who are watching today and in the future. In honor of Scout Sunday, I would like to invite Jackson Cunningham to come up and help light the chalice. We turn to our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. If you have a chalice at home, we invite you to light it at this time. In the words of Kathleen McTeague, we come together this morning to remind one another, to rest for a moment on the forming edge of our lives, to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment, until we claim for ourselves awareness and gratitude, taking the time to look into one another's faces and see their communion, the reflection of our own eyes. This house of laughter and silence, memory and hope is hallowed by our presence together. May this flame burn bright in your heart and mind as we worship together. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our opening hymn, hymn 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
Yeah. invite you to now join your voices with mine for our collective reading. This week we are doing our grounding, and the words can be found in your order of service. We name our collective recommitment to care for the earth, knowing the ground we live upon is sacred. We pledge to bring new life to the earth, new life to the air, new life to the waters, new life to each other, for all life is sacred.
As I said earlier, today is Scout Sunday, and as you can see, I was a Girl Scout for 11 years, and I somehow managed to find all 3 of my sashes, which was a very exciting find. Scouting America recognizes Scout Sunday around their anniversary. Scouting America used to be Boy Scouts of America, it now goes by Scouting America. Their anniversary is February 8th. Girl Scout Sunday and Girl Scout Sabbath takes place during Girl Scout Week, which is around March 12th, the birthday of Girl Scouting. So we picked here at First Church, we picked a day right in the middle, February 23rd, to recognize Scout Sunday and emphasize their commitment to serve is a spiritual one. So I'd like to invite any Scouts, present or past, that want to join me to come on up. Bring your program if you don't have it memorized, because on the back we have the Scout Law, Scout Oath, Girl Scout Promise, and Girl Scout Law. And we're going to read all of them. So come on up. And we'll applaud for everyone at the end. All right, let's make room for everyone. All right, we'll start with Scouting America. Scout Law. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And the Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. And now on to the Girl Scouts. Girl Scout Promise. On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout Law. And the Girl Scout Law. I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, and responsible for what I say and do, and to respect myself and others. Respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout. I don't know about some of you, but those changed since I was a kid. They're not exactly the same. Now I would like to honor and thank all of the Scouts in our congregation for their courage, confidence, and character to work to make the world a better place. If you have ever been a Scout and did not join us up here, please rise. And to all the volunteers who make these programs what they are, thank you to all the adult volunteers who give of their time and their talents to all of our Scouts. Thank you. If you're a kid, stay up here because I'm going to turn it over to Mac for time for all ages.
Yes, if you are young or young at heart, or just like a good story, I invite you to come up and join me. The story we have today is called I Am Me. I normally look up how to pronounce people's names before I say them. In this case, I was not able to identify if her name is Susan Verde or Susan Verde. Don't know if it's from the French or the Spanish, but The author's name is Susan, in any case. And it's called I Am Me, a Book of Authenticity. And I haven't read it yet, so you guys are going to be going with it with me. There are things about me that make me different. Sometimes I stand out in a crowd. Sometimes I am not seen at all and I feel alone. And you can see here she is giant over the crowd and puny next to the crowd in the two pictures. I start to ask myself, why can't I blend in, fit the mold? Here she is watching a soccer game, but not playing. Soccer's the best, is what I hear.
Yeah. Play soccer.
Maybe I am too little, or maybe too much. But when I stop and look, I see nothing in this world is exactly the same. Difference is what makes life beautiful and miraculous. And so here she is between a lion and a little kitten, which are both different and the same. It's my interpretation of that visual. And when I show who I truly am, I can find my joy, my spark. She's riding the lion with the kitten. It does sound cool. I have something to contribute. I can't hold back or hold it in. I am someone to be celebrated. And then she is painting on the wall, and it says, I am me. I can have my own style and decide how I want to show up in the world. I can be grateful for my hair, my skin, my size, because they are all mine. I can be proud of my body and thankful for all it can do. She's doing a cartwheel or front flip. It's impossible to say. What do you think?
I would say somersault.
Somersault.
Yeah.
She's tumbling. Somersault. Yeah, the experts have helped me out. Somersault is the decision.
Yeah.
I can embrace that I am perfectly imperfect because that is what makes me interesting. She's playing a violin and it goes scree. I can dance to my own rhythm anytime I want to move and groove. I can learn from others who express themselves with confidence, even when it's hard. I can be a role model for someone who is afraid to show their true colors. I can celebrate the things in this world that I decide are most meaningful to me. And there's 4 flags here that say love, peace, unity, and hope. And this is the kid she helped find how to express their true selves in a pink angel costume, dancing on stage with her and the lion and the kitten. I can love anyone I choose, fully and completely, with all my heart. I can notice that every creature, small and grand, has something unique and necessary. I can know that community, connection, and acceptance exist, and I will find them. I can surround myself with those who see me, stand up for me, and support me. I can be okay knowing not everyone will understand me, because I have love for myself. I don't need to hide away, hold back, or compare myself to anyone else, because I am me, and I matter. Here she is standing next to the lion, going, roar! Roar! Want to do it again?
Ray!
Just like that. You are you, and you matter. We are just right. Beautiful and miraculous, exactly as we are. Thank you. Please now join me in singing our children out. And thank you guys for hanging out with me. we'll try to recover it later.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
I enjoyed that story. Mostly I liked the lion roar that came along with it. I think that was my favorite part. It is time for our offertory. I think you know how this works, but if you would like to be reminded, we'll be passing around some plates. Half of the money we collect goes to the basic operating budget of this church. The more important half, in my mind, goes to an organization who carries the values of our church into the world. And in February, we are working with Bethel AME's Reparations Fund to try to undo some of the harm they experienced in the 1950s as their original church building was taken and demolished under the name of urban renewal. Of course, simply being an act of racism. They are an incredible community. We love the things that they are doing, and if you have any money to give, I would highly encourage you do so, because it's the last week of the month. February is a short month, and they deserve everything we can offer them. So with that, I please invite our ushers forward, and thank you all for any generosity in heart or in dollar that you have.
hold each other in our hearts and minds with all our joys and all our sorrows. We remember those who are experiencing losses of various kinds and those facing health challenges. We are aware that many are faced with heightened difficulties presented by these times that continue to be challenging for us all. May those who suffer or mourn find peace. May those who hunger or thirst be quenched with nourishment and sated with the elixir of life. May those who have experienced violence find care and comfort and the healing that comes with time. May all of us find the loving kindness that is ours to share. May we open our hearts and minds to encircle with love and care all in our community and beyond. So may it be. Amen, namaste, and blessed be. You are invited into a few moments of silence, personal meditation, and prayer. In the words of Thich Nhat Hanh, let us be at peace with our bodies and our minds. Let us return to ourselves and become wholly ourselves. Let us be aware of the source of being, common to us all and to all living things. Evoking the presence of the great compassion, let us fill our hearts with our own compassion towards ourselves and towards all living beings. Let us pray that we ourselves cease to be the cause of suffering to each other. With humility, with awareness of the existence of life and of the sufferings that are going on around us, let us practice the establishment of peace in our hearts and on earth. Amen.
This is a poem called The Layers, and it is by Stanley Kunitz. I have walked through many lives, some of them my own, and I am not who I was, though some principle of being abides from which I struggle not to stray. When I look behind, as I am compelled to look before I can gather strength to proceed on my journey, I see the milestones dwindling toward the horizon and the slow fires trailing from the abandoned campsites over which scavenger angels wheel on heavy wings. Oh, I have made myself a tribe out of my true affections, and my tribe is scattered. How shall the heart be reconciled to its feast of losses? In a rising wind, the manic dust of my friends, those who fell along the way, bitterly stings my face. Yet, I turn, exulting somewhat with my will intact to go wherever I need to go, and every stone on the road precious to me. In my darkest night, when the moon was covered and I roamed through the wreckage, a nimbus-clouded voice directed me, live in the layers, not on the litter. Though I lack the art to decipher it, no doubt the next chapter in my book of transformations is already written. I am not done with my changes.
I grew up in the 80s, and one of the most influential movies of my teen years was The Breakfast Club. It tells the story of 5 high school students from different social groups in a Saturday detention together. The principal tells them that they have to spend the day writing an essay saying who they think they are. They spend the day messing around, avoiding the principal, and getting to know who each one of them is outside of their limiting social group. They're forced to step outside their comfort zones, and by doing so, they learn there is more to each of them, including themselves, than their social status at school. At the end of the movie, you hear Brian's voice, who's the smart one, reading his essay, presumably from all of them. Dear Mr. Vernon, we accept the fact that we had to sacrifice a whole Saturday in detention for whatever it is we did wrong. But we think you're crazy for making us write an essay telling you who we think we are. You see us as you want to see us, in the simplest terms, in the most convenient definitions. But what we found out is that each one of us is a brain, an athlete, a basket case, a princess, and a criminal. Does that answer your question? We all have a tendency to identify ourselves in the simplest and most reductive terms. As an adult professional, it's hard not to lead with my job and work title. This is problematic for many reasons. First, it's inherently classist. But limiting ourselves to any single characteristic or any single role, whether it be our job or our relationship to another person, such as mother, wife, father, parent, is a deeply damaging act. It reduces us to the one thing that could change or be taken away at any time. One thing we can be certain of in life is that change will come. And when change indefinitely comes for our identity, it opens us up to an identity crisis when we're not expecting it. Here's a more modern movie reference to look at, the Barbie movie, which came out last year. If you haven't seen it, here's a brief summary of the plot. There is the real world and there is Barbie Land, and they're going on at the same time. In Barbie Land, everything is great, women are powerful, can do and be anything they want, and they fixed all the problems in the real world. Then one day, stereotypical Barbie starts malfunctioning. She gets cellulite, she gets flat feet, and she has inevitable thoughts of death. Well, to fix it, she travels to the real world to find the person that's playing with her, where she learns, of course, that Barbies didn't fix anything. She comes back to Barbie Land, and the Kens have turned everything on its head and embraced patriarchy. Both Ken and Barbie are in the middle of their own existential crisis when everything they thought they knew turns out to be just the opposite. In one of the closing scenes, Ken says, I just don't know who I am without you. Barbie says, you're Ken. But it's Barbie and Ken. There is no just Ken. That's why I was created. I only exist within the warmth of your gaze. Without it, I'm just another blonde guy who can't do flips. After a long pause, Barbie continues, okay, Ken, you have to figure out who you are without me. You're not your girlfriend. You're not your house. You're not your mink. Aside, when he was in the real world, he adopted a full-length mink coat look. Ken says, beach? Another aside, that's his job. He's not a lifeguard, he's just beach. No, Barbie says, you're not even beach. Maybe all the things that you thought made you you aren't really you. Maybe it's Barbie and it's Ken. Ken is me? Ken is me, and I'm Barbie. Okay, so I'm not Stephanie, the commissioned lay minister, Stephanie, the lawyer, Stephanie, Evelyn and Katie's mom, or Stephanie, Mark's wife. I am all of that, but that's not my identity. It's just a part of it. Obviously, I know that to be true, but as I noted in my description for today's service, when we strip away our jobs, our roles, and our relationships with others, who are we? That's where it gets hard. I'm not sure I know, but as Unitarian Universalists, we embrace the big questions and do not always have answers. So I'm going to dig in from movies to Google. When I looked up the definition of identity and the mystery of it all, Google actually popped out an AI-generated summary, which I kind of like. The mystery of identity is considered by many to be the most curious mystery because it's complex and fundamental questions about who we are that is deeply personal, constantly evolving, and seemingly impossible to fully grasp. It encompasses our memories, experiences, values, beliefs, and even how others perceive us, making it a unique enigma that touches on the very core of our existence. Back when I applied for colleges, I know I had to write an essay describing who I was. It was a pretty standard essay question at the time. In working through this sermon, I decided to take another shot at it. Here goes nothing. I am a lawyer, a child advocate, a daughter, a sister, a mother, a special needs mother, a wife, a graduate of Bethany College and SUNY Law School. I'm a Pittsburgher, an ex-Alaskan. I am white, cisgendered, and bisexual. I'm a Unitarian Universalist and a member of this community. I am a commissioned lay minister. I am the daughter of educators and ex-hippies who taught me to love learning for learning's sake, that giving to others was a requirement of being human, and that all people at one time in their life should play a sport, play an instrument, work in food service, and work in retail over Christmas. I am the granddaughter of an abusive alcoholic and feel the generational trauma that has seeped down. I grew up believing I was very smart and special, and as a gifted student, could do anything I wanted. I've struggled in my adulthood with not feeling smart or special and realizing there are limits on what we can do that we have zero control over. I grew up in Aspinwall, attended Fox Chapel High School, and struggle to this day against the idea that success is defined only by money, possessions, and social status. I love folk music, museums, bookstores, and exploring new places. I'm a voracious reader and normally have at least 2 books going at any given time. I hate large crowds, whether I know people there or not. I love spending time with close friends. I am a fierce and loyal friend, probably because I did not have many as a child. I long for quiet time, alone, and yet I constantly fight the feeling of being left out and not included. I struggle with anxiety and worry way too much about whether I said something stupid for days or weeks or months or sometimes years after saying it. So it's rather odd that I love doing this. I am tired all of the time, historically because all of my energy is spent on my daughter's special needs and fears for her future. What is going on right now out of Washington, D.C. is certainly making me even more tired. I find it really hard to know what I want when making literally any decision. I don't know if I'm happy or what I want in life because, as my therapist says, my house is always on fire. I love anything to do with food, cooking, baking, eating out. I love being in or on the water. I love the snow. I hate the heat. I am not an early bird or a night owl, but more of a midday kind of person. I love to hike. I want to someday kayak with manatees, learn how to play the mandolin, take a train trip across the country. My biggest fear is what will happen to my daughter when I am gone. That and roller coasters and heights. I believe the most important thing one can do in life is to be kind. Mr. Rogers influenced my theology probably more than anyone or anything else. I share his view that heaven is perhaps the connections we make in the course of a life. I don't believe in God, but I do believe in the power of beloved community, that love is a spiritual discipline that holds us all together, that there is magic in the mystery of life, and that we can make the world a better place. That is who I am today, but our identity is constantly changing. Our lives are a constant search for something that changes as actively as we search for it. Every time I went back to edit my sermon today, I changed it a tiny bit. Who I am today is not at all the person I was 10 years ago or will be in another 10. From the poem Mac read, I have walked through many lives, and though I lack the art to decipher it, no doubt the next chapter in my transformation is already written. I am not done with my changes. Recently, I read the book, The Self-Delusion, the new neuroscience of how we invent and reinvent our identities by Gregory Burns. Burns asserts that we don't have one identity. We are not one person. Our identities are three versions of ourself: our past, our present, and our future us. He says as time moves forward, present you slips into the past and replaced by future you. These different identities really are different people, not just in our beliefs or situations of life or current circumstances. The differences are down to the physical level as our molecular construction changes from moment to moment. The concept that we are the same person throughout our lives is an illusion. How we tell our story or how we identify ourselves in a narrative fashion, whether to yourself or to other people in your life, that gives us meaning to life. That's a lot to unpack. Once I got over the initial mind explosion, how exciting is this if we embrace it? Our stories, our ever-changing identities are what give us meaning. They are what make us the collection of bright stars that Reverend Kate spoke about a few weeks ago. I challenge you to embrace the constantly changing you and to tell your story. I will end with one final thought on identity in relationship to today's political climate. There is research that supports that how we see others, how we identify them, is more for their character, their inner beauty, than for what they do. Bobby Azarian is a scientific journalist and cognitive neuroscientist who wrote for Scientific America in 2019 concerning a study of people with memory disorders like Alzheimer's or dementia and identity. He argues that the study shows who one is largely defined by one's moral behavior and not one's memory, capacity, or other cognitive abilities. Azarian writes that how we see people, whether they are positive or negative, to be approached or avoided, is mostly determined by our assessment of their moral character and not their intellect, knowledge, or personal traits. Summarizing, he writes, essentially, identity is not what we know, but what we stand for. We may not need to know who we are in this always changing search for identity. What we do need to do is stand for something. And what better time to stand for something than now? As Unitarian Universalists, we stand for love, justice, equality, radical hospitality, and beloved community. Speak up, stand up, let your voice be heard. What do you stand for? Who are you? And please rise and join me in body and spirit in singing hymn 150, I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel.
I wish
be seated. Please be seated. Please join me in reading the words that are said through Unitarian congregations throughout the country and around the world that are printed in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And as a benediction, in the words of Robert Mabry Doss, for all who see God, may God go with you. For all who embrace life, may life return your affection. For all who seek a right path, may a way be found, and the courage to take it, step by step. Amen.